Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, I will be explaining about Ashoka. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into today's video. So as I have told, today's video is about Ashoka. So before talking about Ashoka, we will first see about Bindusara. In the last video, we have discussed about how Chandragupta Maurya established the Mauryan dynasty. So Chandragupta Maurya was succeeded by his son Bindusara. So Chandragupta was succeeded by his son, and his son's name was Bindusara. Okay, and he campaigned in the Deccan, extending Mauryan control in peninsula as far as south of Mysore. So Bindusara, he extended the Mauryan control in the peninsula as far south as Mysore. Okay, so Bindusara, he extended the Mauryan control as far south as Mysore. And in regard to foreign affairs, Bindusara, he maintained friendly relations with the Hellenic West. Okay, with the Hellenic West, he maintained friendly relations, same like his father Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya also had friendly relation with the Hellenic West. In the same manner, Bindusara also established a friendly relation with them. And he is said to have conquered the land between Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. Bindusara is said to have conquered the land between Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. That is how it is said. It is said that Bindusara have conquered the land between Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. So Bindusara succeeded his father Chandragupta, and he extended the Mauryan control as far south as Mysore, and he maintained friendly relation with the Hellenic West, and it is said that he conquered the land between Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. So next we are going to learn about Ashoka. Ashoka from 268 to 232 BC. So Bindusara's death led to a struggle for succession among his sons. So Ashoka is Bindusara's son. So Bindusara's death led to a struggle for a succession. Okay, there was a succession struggle between the sons of Bindusara. And this struggle for succession, this succession struggle lasted for 4 years, and afterwards in 268 BC, Ashoka emerged successful in the struggle. And Ashoka, he was the greatest of the Mauryan rulers. Ashoka is said to have been the greatest of the Mauryan rulers. So after Bindusara's death, there was a struggle for succession for almost 4 years, and in 268 BC, Ashoka came to power. Now, as regards to Ashoka's succession, there is a general agreement in the sources that Ashoka was not the crown prince. Actually, it is said that Ashoka was not the crown prince, but he succeeded after killing his brothers. Ashoka succeeded in the struggle of succession after killing his brothers. So this was the this was a story regarding the coming of Ashoka to power. It is said that Ashoka was not the crown prince, but he succeeded after killing his brothers, or he came to power after killing his brothers in the struggle for succession. That is why the struggle for succession happened for 4 years. But there is, however, no unanimity in the text either regarding the nature of struggle or the number of brothers. There is no unanimity regarding that. Now, after ascending the throne, after coming to power, Ashoka, according to some sources, spent some years in pleasurable pursuits. Okay, so some years, in the beginning years, Ashoka spent his time in pleasurable pursuits. Okay, so after ascending to the throne, according to some sources, Ashoka spent some years in pleasurable pursuits, and consequently, because of that, he was called as Kamasoka. Okay, because he spent some years in pleasurable pursuits. After that, this was followed by a period of extreme wickedness. Okay, according to some sources, after this, some years were followed by extreme wickedness or conquest or killing or things like that, and because of this, he earned the title Candashoka. Okay, so first he spent some years in pleasurable pursuits, then he spent some years in extreme wickedness, and that is where the Kalinga war happened and many lost their life in Kalinga war. And after that time, this was followed by his conversion into Buddhism. After the Kalinga war, he got converted to Buddhism, and subsequently piety led him to be called as Dhammasoka, okay, or Dhammasoka. So this is how Ashoka's life was transformed. So in the beginning years, he spent some years in pleasurable pursuits. That time he came to be called as Kamasoka. This was followed by a period of extreme wickedness. That was the time when Kalinga war happened, which earned him the title Candashoka. And finally, his conversion to Buddhism and his subsequent piety led him to be called as Dhammasoka. The most important event in Ashoka's reign, the most important event has been his conversion to Buddhism. Okay, Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism seems to have been the most important event in his reign, and this happened after the victorious war with Kalinga. Victorious war with Kalinga. It was after the Kalinga war, that is in 260 BC, that Ashoka got converted into Buddhism. So this was an important event in the life of Ashoka, that is the Kalinga war and his conversion into Buddhism. Now regarding the Kalinga war, Kalinga, it controlled the route to south. Okay, Kalinga controlled the route to South India. So the route to South India was controlled by Kalinga, both by land and sea. Okay, both by land and sea, Kalinga controlled the route to South India, and it was therefore necessary that Kalinga should be a part of Mauryan Empire. So Ashoka wanted Kalinga to be a part of Mauryan Empire. Because why? Because Kalinga controlled the route to South India both by land and sea. Now, the details regarding the Kalinga war is given in the 13th Major Rock Edict. Okay, the 13th Major Rock Edict. This describes the horrors and miseries of the war. Horrors and miseries of Kalinga war. The details of Kalinga war is given in the 13th Major Rock Edict, and this also explains the deep remorse it caused to Ashoka. Deep remorse it caused to Ashoka. So after the Kalinga war, after seeing the tragic incidents which happened in the Kalinga war, the 13th Major Rock Edict also talks about the deep remorse it caused to Ashoka. So all the details regarding Kalinga war is given in the 13th Major Rock Edict. Now after the Kalinga war, after realizing the horrors which happened in the Kalinga war, Ashoka, he became an ardent supporter of Buddhism. And he became an ardent supporter of Buddhism under the influence of a Buddhist monk. Okay, Ashoka was influenced by a Buddhist monk, and that Buddhist monk's name is Upagupta. Under his influence, Ashoka became an ardent supporter of Buddhism under the influence of Buddhist monk Upagupta. Now after that, after getting converted to Buddhism, what did Ashoka do? Ashoka abandoned, after getting converted to Buddhism, Ashoka completely changed, and what he did was he abandoned the policy of physical occupation. Policy of physical occupation. Okay. So from that time, Ashoka gave up the policy of physical occupation, that is in favor of cultural conquest. Okay. In favor of cultural conquest. So he decided that from now onwards I will not do physical occupation, that is, in other words we can say that Bherighosha is physical occupation, was replaced by Dhamma-ghosha. Okay, so he decided to change from the policy of physical occupation to cultural conquest, or else we can say that his policy was changed from Digvijaya to Dharma Vijaya. That is, winning through war was changed from winning through Dharma. So that was the change in Ashoka's policy once he got converted into Buddhism. He abandoned, or he gave up, the policy of physical occupation, that is Bherighosha, in favor of cultural conquest, that is Dhamma-ghosha. His policy changed from Digvijaya to Dharma Vijaya. So this was the influence of Buddhism on Ashoka. Now the subjects of independent states in Kalinga. So after getting converted into Buddhism, the subjects of the independent state of Kalinga were asked to obey the king. They were asked to obey the king like as their father. Okay, obey the king as their father. So that was the change in his policy. The subjects of independent state of Kalinga were asked to obey the king as their father and to repose confidence in him. So he asked the subjects to repose confidence in him. Confidence in him. So that was his policy. And the officials appointed by Ashoka were instructed to propagate this idea among all subjects. So Ashoka also appointed officials, and he asked the officials to propagate this idea, that is, they should obey the king as their father and they should repose confidence in him. This idea has to be propagated among all his subjects. So that was the ideology of Ashoka after the Kalinga war. Now just let us go through the points which we have studied till now. Bindusara 297 to 272 BC. Chandragupta was succeeded by his son Bindusara. He campaigned in the Deccan, extending Mauryan control in the peninsula as far south as Mysore. In foreign affairs, Bindusara maintained the friendly relations with the Hellenic West established by his father. He is said to have conquered the land between the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Ashoka 268 to 232 BC. Bindusara's death in 272 BC led to a struggle for succession among his sons. It lasted for 4 years, and in 268 BC, Ashoka emerged successful. Ashoka was the greatest of the Mauryan rulers. As regards Ashoka's accession to the throne, there is a general agreement in the sources that Ashoka was not the crown prince but succeeded after killing his brothers. There is, however, no unanimity in the text either regarding the nature of struggle or the number of his brothers. After ascending the throne, Ashoka, according to some sources, spent several years in pleasurable pursuits and was consequently called Kamasoka. This was followed by a period of extreme wickedness which earned him the name Candashoka, and finally his conversion to Buddhism and his subsequent piety led him to be called Dhammasoka. The most important event in Ashoka's reign seems to have been his conversion to Buddhism after his victorious war with Kalinga in 260 BC. Kalinga controlled the route to South India both by land and sea, and it was therefore necessary that it should become a part of the Mauryan Empire. The 13th major rock edict vividly describes the horrors and miseries of this war and the deep remorse it caused to Ashoka. Ashoka became an ardent supporter of Buddhism under the influence of Buddhist monk Upagupta. Ashoka abandoned the policy of physical occupation in favor of one of cultural conquest. In other words, Bherighosha was replaced by Dhamma-ghosha. The subjects of the independent states in Kalinga were asked to obey the king as their father and to repose confidence in him. The officials appointed by Ashoka were instructed to propagate this idea among all sections of his subjects. So now let us continue the points regarding Ashoka. Now the tribal peoples were similarly asked to follow the principles of Dhamma. Now the people were asked by Ashoka to follow the principles of, they were asked to follow the principles of Dhamma or Dharma. Okay, and he no longer treated foreign dominions as legitimate areas for military conquest. Ashoka no longer, he did not now consider or he did not treat foreign dominions as areas for military conquest, for military conquest. That is, he gave up the policy of physical conquest. Now he only wanted cultural conquest. That is, Bherighosha was changed into Dhamma-ghosha. So he no longer treated foreign dominions as areas for military conquest. And he took many steps, okay? He took steps for the welfare. He took steps for the welfare both of men and animals. Ashoka took steps for the welfare of both men and animals, even in foreign lands. And this was a new thing considering the conditions of those times. And he also sent ambassadors of peace. Ambassadors of peace were sent to the Greek kingdom in West Asia. Okay, so ambassadors of peace was sent to the Greek kingdom in West Asia and Greece. So all these different things Ashoka started after his conversion into Buddhism. That is, the tribal people were asked to follow the principles of Dhamma. He no longer treated the foreign dominions as areas for military conquest. He took steps for the welfare of men and animals even in foreign lands, and he also sent ambassadors of peace to the Greek kingdom in West Asia and Greece. And after that, Ashoka, and according to Buddhist tradition, it is according to Buddhist tradition, it says that Ashoka sent missionaries. Okay, he sent missionaries for the purpose of propagating Buddhism. And these missionaries were sent by him to Sri Lanka and Central Asia. So according to some Buddhist tradition, it is said that he sent missionaries for propagation of Buddhism to Sri Lanka and Central Asia. And his policy of Dhamma, Ashoka's policy of Dhamma, has been equated with his conversion to Buddhism. So his policy of Dhamma has been often equated with his conversion to Buddhism. Now it appears that the diverse religious ideas and practices, diverse religious ideas and practices which existed in the vast Mauryan Empire, made him to adopt a policy which could easily maintain unity. So if you consider the Mauryan Empire, it was very vast. And in this vast empire, there was diverse religious ideas and practices. A lot of number of religious ideas and practices existed in this vast Mauryan empire. And there was also presence of large foreign population. Foreign population also existed in the northwest. So here if you see, the Mauryan empire was very vast. So first point is the empire was very vast. There was foreign population in the northwest, and there was diverse religious ideas and practices. So all these existed in the Mauryan empire. And with all these existing, it would have been difficult task for a ruler to maintain unity. So to maintain unity, it was a very difficult task for a ruler. Difficult task, because there was a lot of kind of diversities which was existing in the empire. And Ashoka adopted to unify the population through a common set of beliefs. So for that, Ashoka adopted common set of beliefs. Why? Because he wanted to maintain unity, and it was a difficult task with such diversities, and for that he adopted some common set of beliefs. These common set of beliefs came to be called as the policy of Dhamma or Dharma. Okay, so the vast empire with a lot of foreign population and diverse religious ideas and practices was difficult to maintain its unity. For that, Ashoka adopted a common set of beliefs, and that came to be called as the policy of Dhamma or Dharma. Ashoka's Dharma. Now Ashoka's Dharma, now if you see in detail, Ashoka's policy of Dhamma or Dharma was neither a new religion or a new political philosophy. Okay, it was neither a new religion, it was not at all a new religion, nor a new political philosophy. It was not a new political philosophy, but as we discussed, it was a common set of belief. His Dharma was a common set of beliefs. Okay, set of beliefs. It was neither a new religion nor a new political philosophy, but it was a common set of belief, and it was also a way of life. It was a code of conduct and a set of principles, and it was to be adopted and practiced by people. This set of principles had to be adopted and practiced by people. So that was Ashoka's Dharma. It was neither a new religion nor a new political philosophy. It was a common set of belief. It was a way of life, a code of conduct, and a set of principles which had to be adopted and practiced by the people at large. So that is what was Ashoka's Dhamma. One of the striking features of Ashoka's edicts is that he regards himself as a father figure. Now, regarding Ashoka's edicts, one of the striking feature of Ashoka's edicts is that he regards himself as a father figure. We have already studied that he wanted his people to consider him as a father. He regards himself as a father figure, and he denounced all useless ceremonies. All useless ceremonies were denounced by him, and all useless ceremonies as well as sacrifices were denounced by him. And these ceremonies and sacrifices basically were held under the influence of superstition. If you see Ashoka's rock edicts, the first rock edict, it prohibits animal sacrifice and festive gatherings. Okay, it prohibits animal sacrifice and festive gathering. Both these were prohibited in his first rock edict. So he denounced all useless ceremonies and sacrifices, and according to the first rock edict, he prohibits the rituals of animal sacrifice and festive gatherings. So just let us go through the points which we have studied till now, then we will continue. The tribal peoples were similarly asked to follow the principles of Dhamma. He no longer treated foreign dominions as legitimate areas for military conquest. He took steps for the welfare of men and animals in foreign lands, which was a new thing considering the conditions in those times. He sent ambassadors of peace to the Greek kingdoms in West Asia and Greece. According to Buddhist tradition, it would appear that he sent missionaries for the propagation of Buddhism to Sri Lanka and Central Asia. Ashoka's policy of Dhamma has often been equated with his conversion to Buddhism. It appears that diverse religious ideas and practices existed in the vast empire of Mauryas. There was also the presence of a large foreign population in the northwest. It would have been a difficult task for any ruler to maintain unity in an empire composed of such diverse elements. Ashoka adopted to unify the population through a common set of beliefs. This was his policy of Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma was neither a new religion nor a new political philosophy. It was a way of life, a code of conduct, and a set of principles to be adopted and practiced by the people at large. One of the striking features of Ashoka's edicts is that he regards himself as a father figure. Ashoka denounced all useless ceremonies and sacrifices held under the influence of superstition. The first rock edict prohibits the ritual of animal sacrifice and festive gatherings. Now let us continue with the points. The second rock edict. So we talked about the first rock edict. Now let us see about the second rock edict. The second rock edict describes various measures taken by him. Measures taken by Ashoka, such as construction of roads. It talks about the construction of roads, then medical centers, and these medical centers were there for both men and animals. Okay, both for men and animals he constructed medical centers. All these things are explained in the second rock edict. Then if you see the seventh pillar edict, I'm not telling about all the edicts, some important ones as examples we are seeing here. Now in the seventh pillar edict, he orders the Dhamma-mahamatras, okay, that is Dhamma-mahamatras were officers appointed by him. So in the seventh pillar edict, he orders these officers to look after the Brahmanas and Ajvikas. Look after the Brahmanas and the Ajvikas. So that was in the seventh pillar edict. In seventh pillar edict, he orders the Dhamma-mahamatras, that is officers appointed by him, to look after the Brahmanas and Ajvikas. So if you see about Dhamma-mahamatras, they were special cadre officials started by Ashoka. Okay, they were special officers, as I said, and they were responsible for practical aspects of propagation of Dharma. Their main duty was the propagation of Dharma or Dhamma. That was their main duty, and also they will see the welfare of different religious sects. Okay, welfare of different religious sects. This was the duty of Dhamma-mahamatras. They were special cadre officers appointed by Ashoka, and they were responsible for the practical aspects of propagation of Dhamma and the welfare of different religious sects. So that was the duty of Dhamma-mahamatras. Ashoka also started a system of Dharma Yatra. Another new system started by Ashoka was Dharma Yatra. According to whereby he toured the country, that is, he travelled around the country and preached Dharma to the people, So this was called as Dharma Yatra, whereby he toured around the country and he preached the doctrine of Dharma to the people. And throughout his edicts, in all his edicts, throughout his edicts, he stresses the importance of family. The importance of family is stressed throughout his edicts. The emphasis, if you see the importance of family, he gives emphasis on respecting elders, and elders means including religious elders. Okay, including religious elders. That is what he gave importance. And he also gave importance to just attitude towards servants. Just attitude towards servants as well as slaves. And a high degree of social responsibility. He also gave importance to social responsibility. So according to all his edicts, he gave importance to family, and the emphasis is on respecting elders, including religious elders, and having a just attitude towards servants and slaves, and also high degree of social responsibility. So that was always emphasized in almost all his edicts. Now the edicts of Ashoka gave the opportunity to expound his dharma. Almost all edicts of Ashoka gave an opportunity to expound his dhamma. While different, so if you see, there were different major rock edicts. Different major rock edicts talk about various aspects of dharma. Okay, there were different major rock edicts which talk about various aspects of dharma. If you see the major rock edict 11, it contains an elaborate explanation of dharma. It contains an elaborate explanation of dharma. Specifically, the major rock edict 11 contains an elaborate explanation of the dharma, apart from dealing about charity and kinship of humanity. Kinship of humanity. So it deals with explanation of dharma as well as charity and kinship of humanity. Ashoka held that people behave well. Ashoka held that if people behave well, they would go to heaven. Okay, according to Ashoka, if people behave well, okay, if people behave well, they would go to heaven. But he never said that they would attain Nirvana. He never said that he would attain Nirvana. He never said about that. He just said that if people behave well, they would go to heaven. But he never said that they would attain Nirvana. So Ashoka's teachings were thus intended to maintain the existing social order on the basis of tolerance. So mainly if you see Ashoka's teaching, it was intended to maintain the existing social order, on the basis of tolerance. That was the basic teaching of Ashoka, just to maintain the existing social order on the basis of tolerance. So now let us go through the points which we have studied. The second rock edict described the various measures taken by him, such as the construction of roads and medical centers for men and animals. In the seventh pillar edict, he orders the Dhamma-mahamatras to look after the Brahmanas and Ajvikas. Dhamma-mahamatras were a special cadre of officials started by Ashoka, and they were responsible for the practical aspects of propagation of Dhamma and the welfare of different religious sects. Ashoka also started a system of Dharma Yatra, whereby he toured the country and preached the Dhamma to the people. Throughout his edicts, Ashoka stresses the importance of family. The emphasis is on respecting elders, including religious elders, and just attitude towards servants and slaves, and a high degree of social responsibility and civic ethics. The edicts of Ashoka gave the opportunity to expound his Dhamma. While different major rock edicts talk about various aspects of the Dhamma, the major rock edict 11 contains an elaborate explanation of the Dhamma, apart from dealing with charity and kinship of humanity. Ashoka held that if the people behave well, they would go to heaven, but never said they would attain Nirvana. Ashoka's teachings were thus intended to maintain the existing social order on the basis of tolerance. So all these were the points regarding Ashoka and his Dhamma. So I hope you have understood all the points very clearly. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. And also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and shares will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the coming video. Thank you for watching.